Okay, so now getting to the big fat number one cited reason why people are against same-sex marriage, and the reason why we're talking about it on an atheist show. Marriage is a sacred institution. Homosexuality is morally wrong. Homosexuality is a sin. The Bible says you shouldn't, or it's against my religious beliefs. All those things, all these religious, obviously patently religious motivations against same-sex marriage, 45% of people surveyed that object list that as their number one consideration.
See, and I think, to me, that's a little bit encouraging because I was worried that the number was going to be considerably
way higher than that. Well, I think there were 8% who didn't want to say.
Oh, well, I think we can add them to that.
Plus, of all these other groups, I mean, I can't imagine people that are bringing up, that all people who bring up these other excuses first are not also seriously motivated by their religion, right? They just think, oh, well, I got to make a good argument, and I know that my religious argument is full of holes.
Yes.
So
I can't say Jesus told me that gay people should burn.
Because you look like a lunatic.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, the premise that heterosexual monogamous marriage has always been sacred to the Judeo-Christian religious tradition, even if you believe that premise is false. The early church considered marriage a tainted earthly institution and didn't even declare it a sacrament until the year 1215, which is centuries after the founding of the Catholic Church. So that's just ridiculous. Plus, you look in your Old Testament, you have your plural marriages going on. It's just silly. And it's clear, if you read a lot of the Bible, marriage is considered it's like a trade deal. I get the woman and you get the sheep. It's that sort of thing.
I think I could have picked something slightly different, because that one's kind of amusing. I get the women and you get the sheep. I'll take the women, Jeff can have the sheep. No, the other thing is that the Apostle Paul is, in the New Testament, is incredibly against marriage in general. You know, his position was, you don't go near a woman, don't have anything to do with them.
Encourage people to become eunuchs or something? Or praise those people that have made that decision?
It would be better to be a eunuch than to give in to the lust. But
right.
I think Paul was a little nuts myself.
So, but that's really all beside the point as far as I'm concerned, since I don't believe in the religion, and I just think that's silly in the first place. The real deal is the Constitution requires our government to maintain a neutral position with regard to religious beliefs. The government has no obligation to criminalize same-sex marriage just because your religious beliefs say that it's not good. Your religious beliefs are irrelevant and a non-argument. Now, the government, of course, could criminalize same-sex marriage if it had compelling secular reasons to do so, like all these other reasons that we talked about before we got to the religiously motivated one. And if there was a religion here in the U.S. that considered gay marriage a sacrament, but it was incontrovertibly true and proven from a secular standpoint that same-sex marriage was bad, the government could prohibit that.
Right.
They do that kind of thing all the time. But examining these other motivations, and of course callers are free to call in and try to explain to us what the actual problem is with same-sex marriage. Lacking any compelling secular objections to it, there is no reason to make this be against the law.
Why don't we pause for a second and take one call real quick and
Okay.
come right back to this. We've got, is it John?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, John?
Hey, fine. I've called in a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, man, you got a wide conversation there about, you got feedback. I can barely hear.
Yeah, you might want to turn down your TV if it's up.
No, I got mine on mute.